Does Jesus want us to submit to sexual abuse in our marriage? The Christian church continues to idolize the institution of marriage over the safety of the individuals within it, and I'm real tired of it. There is not one single verse in the Bible that tells us that we need to submit ourselves to sexual abuse. Not one. So if your family is telling you that it is unbiblical to separate because of sexual abuse, they are trying to prove a negative because they cannot prove that the Bible says that we should stay married when we are experiencing sexual abuse. Part of the problem is there is lots of sects of Christianity, as well as some very old school people who think that sexual abuse cannot happen in a marriage. And that is just patently false. Sexual abuse happens in marriages every day. If you cannot consent, then you are being sexually abused. If you have ever had sex against your will because they guilted you into it, they forced you into it through emotional manipulation, or just straight up physically forced you into it, that is rape, and I am sorry that you have experienced that. Well, I don't tend to make a habit of telling people that, yes, you should get a divorce. What I do say is that you need to prioritize your safety over just about anything else. If you are unsafe in your marriage, please separate and get to a place of safety, and then seek a qualified therapist, which means not a biblical counselor, but somebody who is actually trained in abuse and abuse recovery, usually like a CSAT, to decide on what your next steps are going to be. You can always decide to move back in together and work things out later, but safety, you cannot do that if you are not safe. You cannot do that if you are laying in a hospital bed because you were forced into doing something that hurt your body physically. Beyond that, if your family needs education on what sexual abuse and marital coercion does to an individual, please direct them to Nat's resources. She can explain things like women who experience marital coercion and sexual abuse start to exhibit trauma responses like brain fog. Nat couldn't even remember the word for ketchup in the middle of a grocery store because of the abuse that she was enduring. Okay, there's issues that come in the form of your physical body begins to exhibit symptoms. You may start to exhibit autoimmune disorders. All sorts of things happen to us when we continue to place ourselves in situations to be abused, and God never calls us to submit to that. God calls you to a place of rest and safety in Him. My friend, I am sorry that you are experiencing this, and you deserve so much more.